由英国经济学人杂志所评出来的世界各国民主指数，美国被列在第30名。少数族裔媒体中心近日举办的宪法危机研讨会，邀请了几位专家学者来讨论这个话题，目的是提高公众对于美国民主潜在衰退的认识。
宪法危机可能源自于政府不同部门之间的冲突，中央政府与地方政府之间的冲突，或只是社会各派之间的冲突。在政府运作过程中，当政治争端的一个或多个当事方故意选择违反宪法法律时，就会产生危机，或藐视不成文的宪法公约，或对被违反的宪法或被蔑视的政治习俗的正确、合法的解释提出质疑。
We had basically 4 different types of them. We were concerned. There were a crisis where the Constitution doesn't exactly say what to do. For example, in 1841, President William Henry Harrison died in office. And the Constitution at that point didn't say that the vice president becomes president. He just kind of asserted himself, and that became the tradition after that. Another crisis is where the Constitution itself is unclear about the government. So, for example, in the 1850s, it was unclear whether the federal government could regulate or eliminate slavery in states. We ended up having a civil war to answer that question. A third type of crisis is where institutions just sort of fail. We might think of a government shutdown along those lines. But a fourth, and I think this is probably the most relevant today, is where the Constitution actually says what to do, but it's not politically feasible.
与会者也对前总统川普所引发的一连串法律争议提出看法。
But there was always an assumption that parties would nominate proper nominees who would not be a threat to democracy. If we look at what the Constitution says for who can actually serve as president, the restrictions on there are very few. It says you need to be 35, a natural-born U.S. citizen, and having been in the United States for 14 years. It didn't seem to occur to the authors of the Constitution to prohibit felons or prohibit someone currently in prison from running for office, because who would think to nominate such a person?
The Constitution specifically speaks to insurrection. It doesn't speak to any other criminal offense, and there have been other people who have run for the office from prison with criminal records in all different array of positions in society. If one can pay the money and meet the basic criteria that's set out, then one can run for president of the United States.
现今的美国面临前所未有的政治分裂，即使有大法官会议解释宪法，但是也会遇到各州不认同、民众反对的状况，也许这才是最大的宪法危机。